Rafael Romo is Senior Latin American Affairs Editor of CNN Worldwide. He's currently in the Dominican Republic attending a summit of Latin American leaders. It's worth remembering that many Mexican and Central American families are financially supported by money sent home from family members in the US. Add to this the fact that President Trump will pay for the wall out of money the US would have spent elsewhere in Mexico. And the financial impact of the wall and associated immigration moves could be catastrophic for the country. In fact, Rafael Romo says the impact has already started.
Well, it started even before the announcement today. There was a sort of threat on Twitter, as Mr. Trump often does, saying that he would tax companies, specifically car companies that were making cars elsewhere and selling them in the United States. And so Ford had a humongous project in north central Mexico, I believe in the state of Durango. And that project that was seen by locals as a great hope that would give jobs to thousands of people, Ford decided to stop it and instead take those jobs back to the United States. And so this was even before today, before the announcement. So the effects of the Trump presidency are already being felt. The other effect, John, and this probably affects more than anything the average Mexican, the average consumer. The rhetoric used during the campaign greatly affected the Mexican currency, the peso. And this is because as companies started to hear what Trump had in mind for Mexico in terms of businesses and business opportunities and taxing companies that did businesses in Mexico or took jobs to Mexico, they decided that it was not a safe bet to invest in Mexico. And so the peso, for this reason and others, it's not the only one, I got to be fair on that, decided to take their money elsewhere, and so the peso has lost a significant amount. The value of the peso has gone down significantly over the last year or so, and this has had a really bad negative effect on consumers in general, and also inflation has taken root as well. So a very, very complicated situation in Mexico as a result of this.
The perverse and cruel irony of all of this is that what history suggests is that illegal immigration north from Mexico into the US increases during times of economic hardship. People are forced into desperate measures. So the irony is that Trump may be creating precisely the conditions that fuel illegal immigration.
Yes, that's exactly right, and it's a very good point, John, because for the longest time, the running joke in Mexico has been, you give me a 20-foot wall and I'll give you a 21-foot ladder, meaning that as long as there's a demand for cheap labor in the United States, there will always be a Mexican worker who's not making enough at home to support a family, and they're going to find a way to get to the United States. And the other reality that we also have to consider is that a lot of these migrants do not really cross the border illegally. They get a tourist visa, and they fly into the United States, and they just overstay their visas. And the same is true for not only Mexicans but other Central Americans. So the wall is symbolic. It plays very well with the Trump constituency in the United States, but I'm not sure that it's going to address the root of the problem, the economic realities that Mexican workers have to face. And what you just mentioned, it's just the law of supply and demand. And if the equation doesn't change, the pull is still going to be there for Mexican workers to leave everything behind in Mexico and migrate to the United States.
That's CNN's Latin American editor, Rafael Romo, talking to us earlier